Have you ever kept something for yourself, even if it was someone else's? Maybe you had to share something with someone, but you took the bigger part. Humans can and will be greedy when there is something they want. This is the case with meat packers. They take too much money for themselves. And that is why I'm here today, to persuade you that meat packers are charging too much for meat and taking too much money for themselves. My knowledge of this topic comes from the extensive amount of research I have done over the past few weeks. I have interviewed someone who is very familiar with the beef industry. Her name is Julianne Burkhalter. She has a Bachelor of Science, Animal Science emphasis in pre-veterinary medicine, a Master of Science in Agriculture with independent horticulture research. To make my argument, I will cover how this public knowledge will affect the monopolies being created, the meat packer profits, the farmers' loss of money, and consumer spendings. To begin with, let's take a look at how consumer spendings will be affected. I am not the only one who is doing research on this topic. In the article, More Than Money, Monopoly on Meat, written by Paige Sutherland and Meghna Chakrabarty, they are also studying the subject of meat packers creating monopolies. They have no degrees, however, they are just like me, and have done extensive research and interviewed several sources within the beef industry. They have also interviewed farmers and taken their opinion on how they feel about what the meat packers are doing. The two women interviewed Jean Alderson, who runs the Bones Brothers Ranch in Montana, with her husband, her two teenage sons, and her 91-year-old father who raised the cattle before her. Alderson has said, "It's not like we get to set the price. We are given a price and we have to take it or leave it." This is where meat packers come in. They get to pick what price they would like to buy the cattle for. So essentially, it does not matter how much time or money the farmers spend on their cows, because in the end, they will not get to pick what they sell them for. There are some meat packers in the world who stay true to the price in such a way that it's fair to the farmer. However, most meat packers are not like this, and they will scam farmers out of their money and end up selling the beef for more. This is exactly how a monopoly is started. The producer is scammed out of their money, and the business is soon consumed by the meat packers controlling it. Furthermore, discussing the issue regarding consumers being overpriced, let's now discuss how much money the packers are getting. After doing extensive research on the website Zippo, which is a website that gives statistics for a various amount of careers, I have discovered that the average meat packer salary is $11.91 hourly, which eventually leads up to $24,000 yearly. Now, this may not seem like much, but keep in mind this is only the average. This is not counting the number of companies that are scamming people out of their money. There are several companies that have attained the leniency of the pandemic to charge extra for meat. They take this extra money and keep it for themselves. An example of how this process works is that the farmer will spend so much money on a cow, and once that cow is shipped to the packers, they pack it and send it off for higher prices. The farmers only get so much of that money back, and the meat packers have created a system to where they can get extra money without making it obvious. So far they have been able to maintain the system under a discreet operation. Some people notice it, but don't have a loud enough voice to do anything about it. Farmers, without a doubt, have it the hardest in the beef industry. They have to spend the most amount of time and money in order to raise the cattle, only to get less money back. Moving on, my next source is from an article, Justice on the Range, by Andrew Wiseman. Andrew Wiseman is an American attorney. Starting in 2015, he became the chief of criminal fraud section of the U.S. Department of Justice, and in June 2017, he was appointed to a management role on the 2017 Special Counsel team headed by Robert Muehl. Given all this information, it is safe to say my source is reliable. He has written that the cattle producers have found that it has been vastly diminished control of how they raise cattle, and they can't negotiate a fair price. There are many different prices being offered for cattle at auctions, all of which are not suitable prices to the farmers for which they raise the cattle. Wiseman has also mentioned that people do not take into account how long it takes for a farmer to raise a cow. Not to mention, this is herds of cows, not just one. Many people choose to ignore all of these facts provided, so Wiseman chose to write an article speaking for those who do not have a voice. In closing, I hope I have been able to persuade you that no matter how much your beef is, just know that farmers and consumers are being scammed out of their money, and the meat packers are taking most of it for themselves. It is my hope, based on the evidence provided regarding this, that I have persuaded you that meat packers have been taking too much money for themselves by buying cattle for less and selling beef for more, and now I hope you understand why we as consumers need to start fighting for better prices.
Good job.
That was great.